Hi, I'm Kate Warren, Director of Global Recruitment Services at DevX, and welcome to my weekly Career Matters video blog. So this week, Sarah Jewell tweeted me a question. She said, "Hi Kate, what's the best way to request an informational interview in headquarters in order to learn about possible career pathways?" So this is a great question. Informational interviews are a great way to learn more about an organization or an industry, to broaden your network, practice your interview skills, and also help you understand, what skills, experiences, strategies you need to succeed in your chosen career path. It can also even help you eliminate potential career paths that you're considering. So while this shouldn't be your primary goal, it can also be a way to get known within an organization for potential job opportunities in the future. So how do you go about getting one? So I have a few tips to share with all of you. As someone who used to be approached for informational interviews and as someone who speaks with a lot of hiring managers and recruiters that get these kind of requests. So first of all, I would suggest sending it in an email rather than doing a phone call. When you're approaching someone, typically kind of cold, if you were to call them, it often comes across as too salesy or too pushy. Imagine when a telemarketer calls you out of the blue and you don't know who they are. Your knee-jerk reaction is to want to get them off the phone as quickly as possible. Also, I find that all too often you go to voicemail when you try to call someone. And likely your voicemail is not going to be at the top of their list of phone calls to return if they don't know who you are and you're coming in and asking for an informational interview. So I suggest sending an email. You might need to want to call the organization and see if you can find out who the best person is to contact, but then follow up with an email. Email allows you to kind of give more context to what you're asking, and it also shows that you're more respectful of that person's time, not expecting them to just drop everything right at that moment to speak to you. So I would typically always send these requests via email if you can. Second is, I would not just focus on the HR or recruitment office. So recruiters are often swamped with the many different requisitions or positions they're working on. Every recruiter I know within international development is overworked and has a ton of positions they're working on. So doing an informational interview that's not going to help them fill in those positions is really going to be at the bottom of their priority list. And if you think about it, they spend their days interviewing. That's something they do all the time. So they can kind of get interview fatigue. And so adding yet another interview to their schedule for one that's not going to help one of their open positions is usually not something they relish. I would instead, or in addition to you're not getting any luck with the recruitment office, try going to the hiring managers directly or the people that are actually working in the departments that you hope to work for one day. So for example, if you want to work in maternal child health, try to find out who specializes in that organization and reach out to them. They likely aren't getting tons of informational interview requests, much like a recruitment office may, and they aren't likely spending their days interviewing nonstop, so they might not have that interview fatigue, and actually doing an informational interview might be a welcome break in their day, something kind of different to spice things up a little bit. So they may be more amenable to your request, and they probably will have better insights to give you, being that they're actually professionals working in that field, and so they'll be able to lend that insight that an HR recruiter might not be able to. So the second or third thing I would say is try to get an introduction. So much like a telemarketer calling you out of the blue where you don't know who they are, you're probably going to be more likely to respond to someone warmly or respond to them at all if you're introduced by someone you know. So whether it be a friend of a friend, someone through your alumni network, try to find someone who can get you introduced to the person you want to talk to. Your chances of getting a response and getting them to meet with you are much higher that way. I'd also say, don't ask for a job. And when you're reaching out, don't send it in your email and don't imply that you're really looking to get a job out of this. If they don't have a job to give you, they're going to feel like, well, I don't have a job, so why should we even meet? And nobody likes to feel hounded for a job, and they'll be hesitant to talk to you because if they don't have one that exists, they'll feel like they're not really going to be able to provide you any assistance. It also, again, can come off as very pushy. So definitely keep your conversations and how you frame things around really learning about the career. Don't throw out that you're looking for a job specifically. I would also say that flattery can go a long way. So when you are reaching out to people, instead of trying to really sell yourself as a candidate, really kind of pump them up, explain why it is you want to talk to them, what it is you admire about their career and what they've done, why you want to learn from them and maybe emulate that in your own career. People are often very happy to talk about themselves and their accomplishments and really trying to highlight what it is about them that you admire can be a good strategy in warming them up to you so they might want to meet with you. Also be very appreciative and respectful of their time. So this might go without saying, but you would really be surprised at how many people send very kind of demanding emails or phone calls that are expecting people to devote a certain amount of time to them just because they ask. And coming across like that can really turn people off and be kind of overly aggressive. So make sure when you are reaching out to an email, you're very respectful in your tone and appreciative of the time that it will take, understanding that they have a whole list of duties they're supposed to be doing, and almost nobody has informational interviews as one of their core job duties. So anyone doing this is going to be adding that onto what is likely probably already very full plate. So acknowledging that and being very respectful of their time is extremely important. If you do not hear back from someone right away, likely it's not anything personal. It's probably just because they're quite busy. But if you get back and say, hey, I called you 3 times and I haven't heard back from you, that is likely to turn them off too and probably not going to get you anywhere. So again, be very respectful. Say, oh, I understand you must be really swamped. If you have some time, I'd really appreciate hearing back from you. So again, be very, very respectful and appreciative of that. And then if you do meet with someone, just make sure you come prepared. Just like when you're a job seeker going to, say, a career fair, you don't want to go and use this great opportunity you have to speak with some to just ask basic questions that might be found on an organizational website. So really have some questions prepared, and again, focus them around asking about that individual. People will love to talk about themselves or give their opinions on things, and you'll find that you can fill an hour very easily with great conversation if you come prepared with some of these questions. And also make sure you're getting the most out of the opportunity if you really have some clear things you're looking to take away. Always ask for maybe introductions to other people you should be talking to. This can kind of keep you going on the informational interview circuit because, as I said before, getting introduced definitely increases your chances of someone speaking to you. So really have some kind of clear things that you have decided you want to ask and get from out of the informational interview so you can make the most of your time and also the person you're meeting with time. So if any of you have any tips or suggestions on ways that you got informational interviews, or maybe you've been approached for an informational interview and how you like to be approached for Sarah, please share them in the comments below. And if you have any questions about managing your career in international development, please tweet me at DevX Careers. Thank you.